Namaskar and very good afternoon viewers. Learners, if you remember, we have been discussing educational leadership. So friends, in part 3 and part 4, we will be talking about that what we have left at. Let me recap what we have covered in our last lecture. When we talked about educational leadership, when we started it, we talked about certain questions which we will try to answer in the discussion. We have talked about in my previous lecture what is the difference between educational management and educational leadership. We have also discussed importance of educational leadership as well as goals of educational leaders. We were discussing making of educational leaders, and we would also be talking about the problems in creating educational leadership, as well as we will be talking about basic strategies or basic styles of educational leadership. So friends, in my previous lecture, what I had discussed was that what are the personal traits which are expected of the educational leader. In that we talked about that the person should be curious, he should be persistent, resilient, flexible, responsible and hardworking. These were the basic traits which are required in a person who we look as a educational leader. We also talked about that the educational leaders are not the people who are born, they can be made. That is why we have so many programs, diploma level, certificate level as well as degree level program for making educational leaders. We also have programs for the people who are serving as well as interested in becoming educational leader, because through those programs it is tried to work upon the personal growth as well as improve the knowledge base as well as provide them perspective to explore more, understand more. Friends, when we were talking about mindsets of 21st century leadership, we were talking about that what is required in a 21st century. Why educational leaders have become so important, particularly in the 21st century. The reason is that now from any organization, it is not expected that organization should maintain status quo. No. Rather, it is expected that organization should grow and that too strategically. For that, we require educational leader, and for being an educational leader, the person should be very good at teamwork. And most important thing is that the person should have high EQ. High IQ is not so important, but high EQ along with focus is very important. High EQ, when we talked about, was that EQ means that person should be self-aware as well as socially aware. He or she should be able to communicate well, foster communication in the organization, collaborate with people, focus on the fundamental skills for improvement in everybody, particularly in the information age. The person should be knowing how to use the data, because data particularly nowadays has become very important component, and it is usually seen that a person who is very good at leadership, that person is usually able to utilize the data well. And if a person is able to utilize the data well and come to the decisions urgently and immediately, then naturally the person would be very responsible as well as taking risk. Friends, we also talked about that for being an educational leader, the person should be taking risk. What kind of risk? Calculative risk. And how can a person take calculative risk? To take the calculative risk, the person should be able to utilize the data as well as having the complete understanding and vision of the future. If the person has understanding of the present, understands the roots of the organization and has vision and has good control over the data and the people around, then naturally the person can be termed as having leadership skills. We also discussed that the most important component which is required for a person to become a good leader or to be termed as good leader is that the person should have healthy habits. Healthy habits means not just being disciplined, but also being able to utilize time well, and those habits should not be restricted to the person, rather they should be going down, they should be transmitted to the subordinates as well, so that subordinates also understand that the time management is most important. Because friends, a person who stays in the office till late, after the office is closed, in fact even in the evening and late evenings, that doesn't mean that a person is a good leader. Rather, it means that a person is a bad leader. If a person is required to come on weekends and work, and also requires one's own subordinate to come and work on weekends, that itself states that a person is a bad leader. Because a good leader will always try to promote the habit amongst the employees that they should be investing time with their family, because whenever there is uninterrupted time with one's own family, then naturally the work is also satisfying. If to maintain the satisfaction in the organization, it is important that a person is allowed to have good family time, and in order to do that, non-work habits should be let go. People should let go the habits which are not work oriented, which are wastage, like indulging in gossiping, having meetings without much agendas, having meetings which can be resolved through emails or just conveying on the phone. So such kind of meetings should be avoided. Friends, we also talked about that whenever we talk about educational leader, particularly in the 21st century, then we have to understand what makes a school leader. Because in this lesson, in this particular topic, we have been trying to discuss school leaders. For making of school leader, the most important factor which is required is that the person should be able to understand importance of building community. Friend, this particular component is more important, particularly in the context of India. Why? Because India is a very diverse country and it has social components differing. This variable, the social variable, is differing from every 5 kilometers. So, if a person is not capable of building upon the community, his or her leadership has to be built upon the community. For example, if a person is working in an area which has more tribals, then he or she should understand that how that tribal community can be utilized. If the person is working in an area where there are children who are coming from middle class, then naturally person should be able to build that community, understand the importance of that community as well as utilize that. Cultivate inclusiveness, caring and culturally responsive school communities. So this is most important, creating partnership with the community, and that has to be reciprocal. We also talked about that community, apart from the community network, the person should be able to empower teachers and cultivate leadership skills. Because friends, a good leader is the one who believes and trusts one's own employee, and particularly when here we are talking about the school organization. So in case of school organization, the teaching community are also the people who are learned, and if they are not given any kind of importance by the school principal, if they are not being treated with the equal respect, and if they are not provided the options to groom themselves, to enhance their learning and the situations to experiment leadership, then naturally the people, the employees, the teachers will not be satisfied. So it is also one of the responsibility of the principal that he or she should be supporting teachers and staff by encouraging them continually to learn, develop and most importantly become leaders themselves. Because it is not something which is hidden that a person who understands the importance of other people as well as promote other people, then he or she is promoting himself or herself. So negative person can never be termed as a good leader. That means a good leader will always be a very positive person. Positive here means positive because of having high EQ, positive because a person is good at understanding the people around him, the person who is good at understanding himself, the person who also knows how to utilize data driven decision making, he or she should be able to utilize technology well. The person should be able to have the good relationship, reciprocal relationship with the community, and the person should be having a vision and plan, and he or she should articulate, implement that plan in such a manner that all those who are involved in implementing that vision and that plan, they should feel that vision belongs to them, that plan belongs to them. Only that will provide momentum and direction to the organization, because only a team leader, the leader who leads the team, who work along with the team, can only become successful as far as leadership is concerned. Because who is going to judge the success of a leadership? What are going to be the parameter for the success of a leadership? The first parameter will be the growth of the organization. If the organization is not growing well, if the organization is not going on a positive path, if the people in that organization are not satisfied, if they are not passionate about their work, and if there is demotivated environment in that organization and there is no excitement, then naturally we cannot term that organization as progressing. And if the organization is not progressing, definitely educational leadership is missing. That means a person who has been given the task of leading that organization is not successful. The person might be manage the organization well, manage the organization in such a manner that status quo is maintained, or the vision to the people is good, but the organization will not be able to go long. So this is the most important thing which we have talked about in our last lecture. From that we will talk about where we had left. We were talking about passionate leaders. Who are the passionate leaders? Why are they required? Because if the people who are leading, they don't have passion, then naturally the people behind them or people with them will not care to follow them, will not care to work with the passion, and the efforts of the other people will also be not represented well, that not be respected well. So passion is something which is very important, because passion is contagious. It is energy which is transferred from one person to another and down the line. So if a person, the school leader, is passionate, then naturally teachers will also be passionate about their work. If the teachers are passionate, then students will also be passionate about their performance. So as the Forbes has written that all the knowledge in the world can't make a good leader. It is the care for the work and the people who collaborate with you that makes a difference. Now let us talk about the seventh, that was encourage risk taking. Friends, what does encourage risk taking means? That means a person who is in the leading position, the person has to be capable of, able to take risk, because as it is well known fact that if the person doesn't take risk, the person cannot grow. If a person doesn't act, then there cannot be any result. That means the person himself has to realize that a failures only leads to success. If a person is realizing himself that failures leads to success, the person would be able to take risk. And if because it is the failures in this case are not just individual but organizational, and an organization which has participation of students as well as community and has the policies also to be followed, then naturally here when we are talking about risk, here we are talking about calculative risk, data based risk. And if the principle of the school is risk taking, the teachers will also be experimenting with their methods, teaching methods. If they are experimenting with their teaching methods, they will enjoy more. And if the teachers are not passive, they are active, they are risk taking, then naturally students will also be risk taking. And friends, it is a fact that a child who has tendency to take risk goes long run. If we have a look at the successful people throughout the world, we would realize that the people who have been successful, they are the one who have failed maximum time. And why would people fail? Because they will try. So it is a fact that students have to become risk taking, and that can only be done if the leader encourage risk taking amongst the teachers, amongst the colleagues, and amongst the students also. Friends, we need to understand that whenever we talk about failures, here the failures would be small failures, because you cannot let the students experiment to such an extent that they fail in a class. That means there has to be control mechanism to the risk taking, control mechanism to the experimentation. What kind of control? Control has to be from the outside as well as from the inside. The student has to be motivated to control. How would the student control? Through feedback. The feedback has to be rapid, as from outside as well as from inside, and there has to be scope for correction. And if there is a scope for correction and there is a platform for building a collective intelligence, then naturally the failures will be small and not so big. And because that failure is going to impact lot many people, then naturally the failures will also be shared, because the employees will be learning from each other's mistakes. Whenever the students or the employees are working in the groups, naturally everybody is failing at some part or the other, and the other people are benefiting from that. So in a way, whenever there is a collaborative thinking and collaborating experimentation and collective intelligence, then the people would be learning from each other's mistake, and that is why failure would also be less and growth will be more. We also need to understand that whenever we are talking about that, can person be motivated from the outside? That means, can anybody, any leader motivate the employees, the subordinates, their colleagues and the students just by speaking? No, definitely not, because it is a well known fact that words doesn't make such a huge impact as actions do. So that means that the leader has to lead in actions. The leader has to lead by example and position himself in such a manner that the person is himself a model. A person is open to the failure, person is taking risk, moving on, and able to maintain control also on the colleagues as well as the students, then naturally the organization will grow. Friends, I used the word control. Control is a very important word, and it is a very important attribute. If it is missing, then all positivity is lost. Why all positivity will be lost? Because if you allow everybody to experiment in their own domain and leave them alone without any control mechanism, then naturally the things will go out of the hand. It happens in the classroom, it happens in the organization as well. So there has to be a control mechanism, and control mechanism is inspired as well as enforced. It has to be done both the ways. So that means, just as motivation is external as well as internal, similarly control is also from outside as well as from inside. From inside, what I mean is that the people should be able to control their behavior. If the people are controlling their behavior from inside and there is positivity in the organization, it itself means that they have got a good leader and they are following the leader because they have respect, huge respect for that leader. So that is a kind of an internal control. What about the external control? External control is the discipline. For example, if you let students decide the time of coming to the school, how many students will come in time to the school, definitely it will also be disturbed. Another important attribute, particularly for the making of leader, is that they preserve. That means they stay over there. That means the people or the person who leaves the organization very frequently, they don't have a very positive impact on the school climate. So school leadership also require the person to stay for the longer duration. So an important aspect from it comes that even the government should have the policy that the people should stay in the same organization for the longer duration. How would that come? That would only come if we have that policy. In fact, I think this was the perspective of the policy framers who framed NEP 2020. When NEP 2020 came, in it was documented that it will be viewed that the people should be allowed to stay in the same organization and be promoted. Why is it viewed this way? Because only then we can have people working dedicatedly in that organization. So, for having devotion of the people in the same organization, it is very important that people stay in that organization. Staying has the two attributes. One is the personal attribute and attitude of the person. Another is the organizational attribute. That means a person has to be committed and effective. Only then we can say that a person is going to stay for the long, and the person should be much more concerned about the student achievement. Whenever we talk about high achieving school and the low achieving school, friends, what is the difference between the two? In the high achieving school, the students don't like to leave, because they see that school is as a important place for them. They see the school giving them something. When would they see that? If they rely on the school. Why would they rely on in the school? Because there is positive environment in the school. There is positive effect in the environment, and the person is staying there for a longer duration. And if I talk from the perspective of time, then at least 5 years on an average, a person should be staying in the same organization. Only then we can expect the school performance to rebound in the turnover level, because the best leaders are the one who are not just dedicated and devoted, they also work in the organization for the longer duration, and they stay and being dedicated are the two attributes, along with the passion, which is very important. Another important aspect is lifelong learners. Friends, what does lifelong learners means? Lifelong learners means that the people, those who are in a leading situation, they will always try to learn something. That may be from the perspective of IT. So, a principal who is 50 years old will also try to learn the IT, which was not even introduced when he was studying or in the job. But he will try to understand that how IT can benefit his organization. Similarly, if there is another language being introduced in the school, the principal will also try to understand the importance of that language, as well as the principal will be curious about learning it. And he or she will never be questioning the people who are trying to learn. That means the person is not himself or herself good learner. It's not just that, but also motivating and promoting the others to be good learners. So friends, on this note, I take your leave. I shall be joining you again in the last and the next session of the same topic, that is educational leadership. On this note, I am signing off. Namaskar. Good afternoon. Take care.